Hello everybody, I'm Good Fedora Fella, and this is my update. I was going to do this sooner, things came up. Now, let's get to it. What have you noticed about my workstation that's a little different? Can you guess? I'll give you a few moments. Did you get the answer yet? I'll give you a hint. It involves books. That's right, I have a huge collection of books right here. It's new, I swear. Actually, as you can see, there's a pretty creepy display right here. I've actually had these for a couple of years now, and I'm actually kind of proud of them, because I'm a freak. We even got ourselves the legendary killer hornet, which, that's not what they really are called. They're just called giant wasps, or Japanese wasps, the giant Japanese wasp. And I've been fascinated by these bugs for a long time. And the reason they're called killer wasps right now is because media tends to ruin everything. Just to let you know, those bugs are not the most dangerous things in the world, okay? So if you see a colony of them, don't freak out, unless you're allergic to bees, because then that's a jumbo-sized ouchie right there. Oh, I wasn't even pointing at it, was I? There, I'm pointing at it now. Yes, you. You're not a villain. You're a victim. Anyways, I need to get hurry through this. Let's see what. Oh yes, my 3D printer. It's not the one I started with, but it is what I've come to love. This thing has allowed me to create several things around this desk area, like this. It's actually kind of a neat little touch, isn't it? Yeah, why don't we have those on our bathrooms? It would show the school kids that you are actually fun, grown-ups, jeesh. But yeah, the things that I've done with the 3D printer is basically, crazy. That's what I would say. Crazy. Because, it's one thing to dream of doing it, it's a whole nother thing to actually be able to do it. And, I am not disappointed in the slightest. This right here was my very first attempt. Do you know what this was supposed to be? It's supposed to be Applejack from My Little Pony. And, she didn't turn out so well. However, after about a week of failure, I did manage to get success. Behold, the first successful 3D print I did. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Only downside with this is that, with these models in particular, they are a little fragile on the leg section and the tail, especially the tail, because the tail, for some reason, well, it's not for some reason, I mean, it's actually a pretty darn small base right there at the tip right there, always causes it to break off. Always. Without fail. But, you know what? Small price to pay, because you wouldn't even notice that, it happened at all. So I started going on a quest to make bigger versions of those, and, my first Applejack, that is a bigger model, turned out okay, but things happened. Here's my ominous box of failures, or at least the ones that could fit in there. And there's actually quite a bit of plastic in here. Not as much as there was, but still. Here's Applejack. She was okay before, and then she took a tumble, and unfortunately, no matter how much glue I use, or, you know, anything really, she just can't be put back together. So I decided, you know what? This one did have a mistake where somehow along the way, the 3D printer actually made a mistake with her hat here. See this deformity on her hat? That was definitely not there before. And somehow it got that wrong. So, I'll just redo it again. In the future, though. I did try and make Rainbow Dash, but the result of that was 3 attempts, and I get this. Bits and pieces. But does a good job. I mean, look at that tail. Actually, a pretty darn good looking tail, gotta say. pattern's pretty nice. The hooves were turning out okay too. But the most successful one I have right now of the main 6 is right here. Here's Twilight Sparkle in all her glory. Just look at how the shine goes on it. It's awesome. I spent so much money on filament, and you know, you would think it'd be a wasted investment, but in my opinion, it's actually every bit worth it just for the experience to waste it all. Yeah, and it actually takes like days, weeks, even a month to go through all the filament. And so far, I've not really run out of anything at all. It's pretty cool though, isn't it? I already have a plan to make the entire collection to have displayed up in my little area here. But the biggest success I had, literally, with this machine is one of 3 things. Here's the first one. Whammo! This is a little dice tray for a Dungeons and Dragons setup. Didn't turn out as big as I anticipated, but this thing took over a day to print. That is phenomenal. It's one of those things where you start feeling a little antsy about the trust in your devices and such that you get, that you don't believe that I could pull something like this off after 24 hours. More than 24 hours even. And sure enough, it did. Turned out pretty good too. There's one little hiccup where right here in the line here, you can see a little line here. Somehow that happened, and it wasn't part of the original design. Somehow the machine shifted for just a second, or actually for just one layer. But it's not a huge deal because it's still solid, sturdy, and it's built pretty well. I even have some footage of this, including footage of Twilight actually, to kind of showcase in this. But I'm not going to showcase either of those right now. Maybe that's something I'll do for another video. You know, just have a little video just showing it happening. I only got parts and pieces of this one. I got to record on and off, but hey, it's better than nothing. The second biggest success I had was this little guy here. This is a monkey head. Now, this doesn't look very impressive or anything like that, but here's the thing. This was part of a 3D program called Blender. If you don't know what that is, it's basically a free 3D format that allows you to make a 3D multiple models and stuff for 3D projects, you know, 3D films, 3D video games, stuff like that. Has all the tools that you need to make any of those things for free. It's a little complex to understand it, but the thing is, within half an hour, I figured out how to print this guy on a completely different format and turn it into a file I could use for this 3D printer. It was not one of those things you could scoff at, because this is something no one in my family has been able to do. I am the first one in my family ever to do this kind of stuff. I'm the first one to own a 3D printer. I'm the first one to convert format files into something that I can use. This is making my nerdiness all worthwhile. And everyone scoffed at me. Actually, they never did. It's just... it's kind of hard to get a positive reaction when everyone's like, nice. Small thing here. I also got this. SD card holder. Just thought I'd throw that in there. Third biggest thing I have done, and this is by far my favorite, is make my own mask for Halloween. Unfortunately, it did not turn out like I had hoped. You see, I had made the mask, stay up till 5 the night before Halloween, trying to get this mask done. And, well, technically 5 in the morning, which means it was already Halloween when it happened, but you know, I spent a whole day trying to figure out how to do this, and it had results, positive results. It just didn't get finished in time for for trick-or-treating. And even if it was, I made it just a little too small. And it was a little complicated to pull it away from all the plastic and stuff it was connected to. But you'll see in a second. Behold, my mask. You can see how this can turn into a really cool looking concept, huh? Again, this is just a little too small, and it's a little bristly. In fact, I didn't realize how messy it would be to get all the floating material to kind of come off. And by floating material, I mean there's excess plastic you have to waste to keep it at an even level. But this thing didn't want to stay even for some reason. Somewhere in the formatting, for some reason, it only go like this or this, kind of clunk-wise, and it ended up wasting more plastic than I wanted. But that wasn't the big issue. The big issue was you have to create something like a raft sometimes. And for this case, I had to build a raft, which means I was wasting more plastic and time just getting this thing to get a foundation for it to be printed on. And once that was done, the raft didn't want to come off very well. And usually they just come right off, but this case, it didn't want to come off very well. Yeah, I actually got a sliver of plastic that actually went in my thumb here. Yeah, it was my thumb. I was pulling some of the plastic off, and some of it actually went under my thumb into it. It was shocking. I didn't feel it, but yeah, I did. And when I looked, I see this little black spot under my skin. And it's actually a pretty thick piece of plastic that went in there. It's like, okay, that's gotta come out. So I had to waste a little bit of time to pry it out. But it could have ended a whole lot worse. It could have went a whole lot worse. But still, I made this from scratch. I just took a bunch of lessons, did my research, kind of pieced things together where I could, and then just started molding. Just started molding and crafting until I got something like this. This hole is deliberate. This hole was deliberate. There were supposed to be 2 other holes in the corners, but I think when I started thickening this mask to make it look more appealing, I ended up filling those holes in. Yeah, I feel kind of stupid about that, but you know what? It is what it is. The teeth kind of need to be trimmed around because there's still some excess plastic around where the broken teeth are, but still, this was me. This was all me. This came from my head. This wasn't originally what I wanted to do, but when I set out to create something from my imagination, I didn't have the knowledge or the know-how to even make it work the way I wanted it to. But now I've got this as evidence, as my talisman of proof that I can and will be able to create 3D model program software that I can 3D print anytime, anywhere, any place. I just need to decide I'm going to work on something, and I'll get done. So this was the coolest thing. I didn't get to use it for Halloween, unfortunately, but you know what? Even though Halloween is past, we could still celebrate the good old spooky scares. In fact, after this video, you will see my first scary video that I did in forever. And after that one, there's going to be several others. It's part of a spooky marathon I'm doing. It was meant for Halloween, but circumstances kind of shoved its way into my schedule. So now, I gotta kind of make up for it by doing a bunch of scary games. Gotta warn you though, the audio might be a little off because some of the audio I've been working with, some of the sockets and such are starting to wear out. So, had to change methods, and not to mention the software I'm using now also needs a completely different format. So, if you want to know what it's like to be an editor, well, you're starting to get an idea by watching me struggle, and the struggle is very real. It's very real, and it's annoying. Your sense of security is taken away when you have to switch everything around. It absolutely sucks. But anyways, I thought I would make this video and let you all know what I was doing. I think I'll keep my desk looking like this for a little while longer, because quite frankly, these guys haven't seen the light of day in quite a while because I'm very careful with my stuff. So, I think I'll keep them out here for the entire duration of when I'm doing the spooky, scary marathon. And then afterwards, we'll see what we do after that. Maybe I'll do another Dominions run real quick. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, please do leave it in the link down below. And I do have a Discord page now. I'm not going to show anyone what it's like yet, because I'm still kind of working around with it. But you know what? It'll be a thing in the future, possibly. So, you know. That's how it'll be. Anyways, again, thank you for watching. Be free. Be creative. Be open-minded. I'm Good Fedora Fella, signing out. Toodaloo!